Hi, Miss Young. So you asked us to do a METACOG vlog on our fake news assignment. We had to take real news and make it look fake, using our red flags and what we've learned throughout the first news article and this one. So I want to talk about what in this vlog. I want to talk about what I learned, how I felt, what was difficult, what was not difficult, what surprised me, what didn't, and the overall feel of the assignment and just how it went. So the first question is for me to explain how I came up with a story that was newsworthy. So I decided on picking an issue that was prominent and recurring in today's society, and overall, I felt I wanted to pick something that wasn't necessarily newsworthy, but something that was super important to talk about. My main strategy in picking something that was newsworthy was to basically use emotional manipulation for my story tactic to make sure that it came across in the best way, which was real. Which was real. So I decided to take a story that would definitely trigger our emotional mind and not our logical mind. Our logical mind consists of deep thinking and thinking, is this real? Is this not? And being very skeptical. And I want to really target the emotional mind, which would make you think, oh my gosh, I feel so bad for this girl. Oh my gosh, what happened? I feel so bad for her family. And so you wouldn't be thinking exactly about the case, but rather the emotions behind it. And so you would be subconscious in your logical mind, not looking to figure out if it's real or not, and just more focusing on the emotional state of the person and the family. So I decided to do a sex trafficking case because I thought that fit the characteristics that I was looking for. So I didn't want to pick something that was newsworthy. I wanted to pick something that was super interesting and super serious, and something that we had talked about in class, and I felt that I was super passionate about. A part of my learning style and my thinking style and overall my producing style is to definitely pick something that I'm interested in and passionate about and super excited about, because I feel like that's when I best do my assignments, because I'm connected to the story in some way. Whether it's like emotionally, I even feel bad, or it's just like deep thinking about the thought that goes into the creativity that goes into these assignments. So I think that was the most important thing in deciding what was newsworthy, was something that fit all the characteristics of what I wanted to do. For question 2, I was asked to describe strategies I used to determine which of the stories in the library were fake and which were real. The main strategy that I decided to use was to basically backtrack, which was I used directly from my red flag sheet. I used the strategy of searching up online what I had found. I'm searching up online the original article, and then seeing if other websites made contradicting news articles about what this story was about. For example, with one of the stories that we did in the library, it was Elvis outsold Beyonce, and basically I was skeptical because we should be skeptical going into that exercise. It's definitely something that we need to keep our eyes out, and something that we need to really be in deep thought about. And so I definitely want to focus on, is this real, is this fake? And I felt the best way was to search the internet. And so I searched up the article name of the headline, which was Elvis also Beyonce, which was like a statement, and so it came across as it was real, it would be a fact. And so I searched it up and to basically see if it was factual, and immediately something came up identifying it as a factual statement. So after I figured out it was factual, I kind of got in the rhythm of doing that throughout the whole exercise, and I got 5 out of 6. And the main thing that tripped me up was because not everything applies to whether the internet says it's real or fake. I think I should have branched out more instead of just checking like fact-checking sites, and I should have made sure that I tried to use a vast majority of different red flag ideas, because definitely some news websites are definitely more crafty than others, and they're more skilled at making things seem real that are fake. So I've definitely had to do some more digging, which I did not do in terms of that question. So so I backtracked on the internet to see which was fake and to see if other news outlets were saying things that were contradicting to the original article of what I was searching. Mainly, I was just seeing the contact me sheets, if it's real, backtracking for the author. A lot of the things I searched up was in the text. It would say, this person says, and I searched up the person, and there was no person. Like, for example, there was one that was like, a politician said this, and I searched up that name for politician, and it didn't come up. So that was something that definitely helped me realize, this isn't real. And so that's something that I use to determine as well throughout the assignment. So for question number 3A, it was, what was the most challenging part of the assignment, of creating the assignment, and the story overall. So I tried to approach all my assignments with an open mind and open arms so that I could effectively just jump right into it. I try to use my other personal experiences, life experience, and beliefs when trying to learn about different things and applying my knowledge. That's how I process my thinking and my learning. It was challenging. That to find something that I was passionate about and interested in, and that was relevant, and it was something that was could be easily manipulative. In an emotional state, and so that it was just hard finding the perfect article for me because of my criteria to figure out what is newsworthy in my opinion and what suits me best to perform in. So yeah, that was the most difficult part about the assignment. For B, the strategy that helped me over, 3B is describe the steps you took to overcome this challenge. So, the strategy that I used to overcome this challenge was definitely to just jump right into the assignment. If I had gone in thinking I need this and that doesn't hit this, it can't be that, I don't think I'd have a news article to present to you, because it's definitely something that you can't be totally picky on. You just have to really just perform your best. So it's just something that I had to dive right into and just search, and I just definitely had to stay focused and stay determined to find a news article that was just right for me. So yes, the thing that helped me overcome this difficult challenge of finding the perfect thing was to not find the perfect thing. It was to find the right thing. So yes, that's exactly what I did. I used my knowledge and thinking throughout figuring out what would be the best for me, and that just helped with the processing of the assignment overall. It did take me a little bit of time to figure it out, but I definitely just had to dive into it to figure it out. So for question 4, it is describe what you learned about how to identify a fake news versus real news. For example, how much exposure you had to the news prior to this assignment, and what surprised you and why, what didn't surprise you and why, and what I added, what was interesting. So I learned that fake news is excessively prominent in a society. Previously, I had little to no exposure to the news based on the fact that I'm not very intrigued by the news. I definitely know it's something that I should stay up on, and it's important to be an active member of society to know what's going on in society. However, it's something that occasionally on my phone I'll look up, oh, the news is over here, let me see what's going on. But it's definitely not something that I make my mission or plan to make sure I'm staying up on. So, because it's not the most interesting to me. Occasionally I will read an article or two, but it's not something that I prominently do in my day-to-day life or just in general. I do watch drama channels. However, drama channels are almost all unfactual and mostly rumors, or they're biased. biased reports. They're not factual, and it definitely wouldn't be considered something for, oh, let me go look up this assignment on this person, let me go and look at a drama channel on YouTube. However, it is more interesting than the news, but it's definitely not something that I would take my real news from. It's not something that I would consider factual. For what surprised me was how well these people do their job, how good they are at manipulating images and manipulating videos to make sure that they're creating a good fake news story to make it seem real. It was more of a realization to realize how good these people are at manipulating the mind and manipulating people into believing such things. So you really have to know your stuff on what is new, what is real, and what is fake. Because to the untrained eye, a lot of things that are fake would be real, and a lot of things that are real would be fake. You have yes, this was surprising because I didn't really know much about fake news or real news. It's something that obviously I knew, but I didn't think about too much. It was not something that I was really passionate about or interested in. However, like now, I'm definitely more interested in the topic because it is a topic that I think we all need to be educated on in our day-to-day life. What didn't surprise me was the amount of people getting away with it, due to the fact that a lot of these organizations were so talented at doing this. It didn't come as much of a shock to realize the amount of people getting away with this because of the fact that how trained they are at this job. It's like an honest skill. They are so well trained and well versed on creating these things that it was definitely not much of a shock that they're getting away with it scot-free. But definitely fact-checking sites are catching them, but a lot of people aren't checking them, so it's an issue. What was interesting? The most interesting thing about this whole assignment was a clip we watched in class, and it was this little girl, and she was carrying a teddy bear, and they put a war background, and there was this men in room, and they put a war background, and she was carrying this teddy bear, and her clothes were all ripped up. There were bombs going off, and they put a headline to it, and it made it completely seem like a real story based on stereotypes of that specific place, based on just like overall, I think, naiveness of people's manipulation. It made me personally so easily believe that it was real, or I just never thought that people could do this so well, and it was so interesting to see how they just pieced each thing together to make it seem real. Question 5. Will this activity change the way you consume news? If yes, how? If not, why not? I have personally always been cautious when receiving news. It's something I'm aware of. Fake news is something that I think about. I think this exercise will make me more aware and more up to date and more more aware and more attentive to fake news. But I do not think per se it will change the way I consume news, because I've always thought of that. It's always been in the back of my mind. I realistically won't look up on Snopes or other fact-checking sites, or go to the specific sheet and look through every time I'm reading a news article. But it's definitely something that over time, because I'm learning it and because I've learned it over this project and assignment, that it's engraved in my mind, so I'll definitely be thinking about it as I process the article. I'll process the ability of fake news, and I'll use the technique that I use for determining what is real and what is fake in the library. So it's something I'll keep in mind to verify articles. So for 6, it was to describe how you feel about the world of journalism and news reporting after this project. That's 6A. So for 6A, I now realize I've always wanted to be a journalist. However, I never really realized how unethical a lot of them are. As aspiring journalist, my job will be to be ethical in the profession of a lot of non-ethical and non-moralic people. my perspective on news reporting as a global citizen who can consume news due to stereotypes or patterns, we are susceptible to fake news. Personally, I believe this project is beneficial to my learning, and I encourage the growth in my thinking and perspective. So I did A and B together. B was to explain my perspective on news reporting as a global citizen who can see the news from around the world. And I just briefly said that my perspective on it is that it's a blessing and a curse because due to stereotypes and patterns, we're susceptible more than others to fake news and to being scammed and etc. So I feel like this project was definitely beneficial to my learning and to my growth as critical thinking, etc. And growth of my overall perspective. So thank you.